my name is Jeff, and I'm here in my, I was going to say recording studio, but it's the conservatory on this rather warm late May evening. So if you can hear my fan in the background, I'm very sorry, but that's literally the difference between me being alive and me being cooked to death, because the conservatory is unforgiving. You might notice my barren shelves behind me. It's because my stuff started melting.
Your Funko Pop started melting.
Yeah, my Avatar figures started melting.
That's a shame.
My trinkets from my granddad started cooking because they were made out of copper, and stuff was just not having much fun. So it's gone. It's packed away, apart from a couple of pictures and half-dead plants.
Which you don't mind if they cook at all, right?
Well, I mean, the spider plants, apparently they will survive, almost anything.
Survive anything, mate. Yeah,
We'll
they're
see
like
how they go.
cockroaches.
Yeah.
The cockroaches of the plant kingdom.
The Twinkies of the plant kingdom. Is it Twinkies?
Not like Funko Pops, mate. They obviously perish very
Yeah,
easily.
well, it's because they're only vinyl,
Yeah.
they can't do it, as I discovered with my Tom Baker squishy head a couple of years ago.
It's melting into a pool of wax.
So, how are you this evening, Paul?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, all
Cooler
good.
than me.
It's cool as a cucumber.
Good, very nice. So, we've got a guest with us tonight. Mark Bray is joining us from MB and Homeland. Good evening, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Good.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mark, I see you seem to be wearing a jumper there. Are you in the Arctic, or are you slightly unwell?
Yeah, no,
Ow.
it's getting a little colder where I am. I have spent the whole day in a t-shirt, and I was just about to come on call, and I was like, I feel like I don't want to be kind of just shaking in the corner, like I have some sort of concern. So I was like, I'll quickly put this on. We'll see how it goes. It might not last. We'll find out. But
we might go PG if you remember.
Wow.
Well, I'll be honest. You're lucky this is on me tonight, because I was thinking I might say my camera's not working. So I can
yeah.
Hey, all I'll say is a good job we're filming from the top upwards.
Yeah.
Well, yes, this is true. Yeah.
So where in the country are you, Mark?
So I'm based southwest. I originated in Bath, but I now live in Bristol. I've been here about
down
2
the road
years.
from me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you
you're
go.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, I'm sort of Clifton-based, Paul, so I don't know where that kind of sits with you.
Yeah, that's miles away.
Oh, fine.
Well, it's in the vicinity.
In the
It's
vicinity.
We're both
Yeah.
in the southwest, so that's all
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Lovely. Yeah. No, it's
So
good.
we're here tonight to talk about your work that you've been doing within fan films. I'm just going to bring up your logo here for people to see.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
MB and
that's very
Homeland,
nice.
it's very nice. Yeah, it's kind of it's sort of a bit of a mix there of kind of Davison era titles and the classic Diamond
Definitely
stuff.
with the flares either side. It's very Davison. Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite saucy actually, aren't they? I quite like those.
Saucy.
Saucy, yeah. So, Mark, yeah, we've got quite a lot to talk about. Like I said, you've made a number of Who films, haven't you? And you've got one currently. Is it in production still, or is it in post-production now?
We're quite heavily into post now.
Okay.
Expected to come out the 29th of August, so that's roughly 3 months and 1 day away. So
Yeah.
not that anyone's counting.
No, I'm sure
yes.
they're not. Yeah.
But yeah.
So we'll come on to that in a little bit. But as you might be aware, we've done a few fan audios ourselves, haven't we, Paul? Which is quite different to doing a fan film.
Full film, crikey, yeah.
But yeah, so we've got a little bit of experience in that sort of area. A little bit. My day job is videos and used to be short films and stuff as well. So I kind of very interested to hear more. So why don't we? Why don't you tell us a little bit about MB and Homeland and what you do as an overall thing to begin with?
Yeah, of course. So it's really interesting how it all kind of came about, because it did sort of just originate as two friends who just wanted to make a film with, I can't even remember the make of the Kodak camera, but it was 2006, something kind of really low quality, probably only did like 480p sort of quality. And we started doing this when I was 8 years old. 20 years later, so that's a good way of working out how old I am. we're still making stories, we're still making projects, and we've kind of progressed from filming with our kind of siblings or our friends, and we're sort of now touching more into collaborating with people who take acting seriously and want a career in it, or people who have 20 years of acting experience, people who have done wonderful composing, music, people who have done assistant camera work on Rivals, on Netflix shows, BBC shows, and it's kind of just been, it's almost like a club, where you'd go off and hang out with some friends and make some films and stuff like that, and we've just sort of slowly gone up and up and tried to make it bigger and better. Not necessarily to show off or to be the biggest or the greatest or anything like that, but just because we just love it, and love telling Doctor Who stories, and there's so much you can do with Doctor Who. And yeah, it's kind of just slowly formed into this thing that we're still doing, and we're still collaborating. And like you mentioned, we're about to bring out a project this August, and we're really excited to share it with everyone.
Brilliant, yeah.
Fantastic. That sounds
let
fun.
let me just see if I can share this, so then we can have a brief look before we come back to it. So this is Doctor Who Outlander, which
yes.
is your forthcoming production. So August the 29th, you say?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your Doctor there. What's the name of the actor who plays him?
So his name's Callum Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
is this the first time you guys have worked together?
No, so he's actually quite an established one on our channel. I
Right.
can't quite remember when he first took over, but it must have been 6-7 years ago.
Oh, okay. Right.
And it has been quite interesting because he joined kind of being like, this will be a bit of fun, this will be a bit of a laugh, and this probably has been, I don't think he'd be afraid of me saying this, but the most daunting as kind of production has gone up from being friends to taking it quite seriously. And he, has loved every minute of it, but has found it, quite overwhelming at times, the amount of experience on set and stuff like that. Gone are the days of memorizing the scripts on the day, what's my line? You've got lots of people around you who have printed the scripts off or know it like the back of their hand, and I think he found that very, very interesting and in a good learning experience way. So yeah, but no, it's been really rewarding. So yeah,
That's brilliant. So we'll talk more about that in a while. But take us back to your beginnings and what kind of, So you said your neighbour had the camera and things, but was there something specific that kind of ignited an interest in film and TV?
I'm not too sure really, because I, despite my age, like I was never alive for any classic Who. I grew up with a grandfather that quite literally lived next door to me. I don't know how common that is for a lot of people, but he had all these VHSs, as I'm sure you're so familiar with the funky artworks, the wonderful work. And I grew up with these VHSs of Doctor Who and knew it and had it established before the revival era, before 2005 when the show came back. And so I Memories of Paradise Towers, The Green Death, Robots of Death, Hartnell stories, all kind of ready. So when I sat down and watched Doctor Who, I already knew I would love it, and of course fell in love with the Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant and beyond era. And it probably wasn't until I went to college that I wanted to take it more down a film route. Maybe I wanted to be an actor for a really long time. Maybe I liked singing or dancing, and then it was more like, I feel like career-wise, it's really tough business to be an actor, especially if you want to take it all the way. And I felt like there was much more of a broader opportunity when it came to filmmaking wise, and I've always had a love for producing, so I am a sucker for the mundane call sheets and risk assessments and paperwork that no one wants to fill out.
Well,
So
someone's got to be,
someone's got to love it. So that meant I kind of found my calling, and especially for a project like this, I'm the person in charge of it, but I'm not the person juggling everything. I'm not filming, I'm not doing hair and makeup, I'm not acting. I just kind of get the chance to sit back and go, let's scout this location, let's do this recce, let's do this risk assessment, and just kind of have the opportunity to play. I talk a lot about playing people to their strengths, and I feel like when you have a team that's kind of, when you find that right person that just loves the camera and knows it in and out, then you just really get a really
what you want,
great
isn't it?
result.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and yeah, so many people doing it out of the goodness of their heart, taking time out of their day, bringing their equipment, renting it, and etc. It's been a real blast. It's been
Yes.
stressful. I feel like I used to have more hair, but
So you get to my age.
but yes, no, it's been good. It's been really rewarding. So yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's brilliant. Yeah, that's interesting what you said there about being an actor. I've had actor friends over the years, and it's definitely a tough gig,
Yeah.
and I always sort of used to think if an actor could present as well, which is not a
Yeah.
massive stretch, it
Yeah.
gives them a whole other kind of avenue of potential work, and I think, but at the same time, like you're saying, you kind of felt there was more avenue for things to sort of be behind the camera.
Yeah.
And I would say, I was kind of similar really because
Yeah.
when I started out with my stuff, I thought I don't want to be just a cameraman or just a sound guy, because then I
Yeah.
think you become quite limited in what you can do
Yeah.
and the work you can get. But neither did I want to be a jack of all trades, because I've known people who one week they're acting, the next week they're doing boom operating on something,
Yeah.
and the next week they're doing something else. And
Yeah.
that's great if that works for you. But when you're sort of all over the place, you can't, you're not sort of focusing.
Not focus.
Yeah, I do think there's a higher demand for that as well, being a jack of all trades. They kind of want you to be run and gun. For news, for example, you have a presenter and then a camera person that's doing everything, and so yeah, it's about balancing it. But similar to you, I like just sort of having my baby, so to speak, to look after and so yeah, that's kind of where I sit.
So it's your production company, is it? Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, it started with me and my friend Tom Skinner, who was my next door neighbour. I basically had my granddad one side with his VHSs and my friend Tom Skinner the other side. And we just sort of started off just doing something for a laugh, something to pass time, probably keep us out of trouble. And I've spoken to him many times, but it's like being on the subject of Doctor Who, had I asked him and he had said no, like, where would I be? Like this is quite a big part of my life. I'm sure people have many different similar situations where they, what if I hadn't turned the TV on and watched Doctor Who at that right moment, and it's kind of very much shaped who I've become, and, very much this time in flux moment that has kind of shaped me, and how it has shaped many people, in their own unique situations. So, yeah.
So, what was the first fan film you did? So tell us, what was it called? How did it come about? What was the production like? And how long ago did you do it as well?
Yeah. If you're talking like the first kind of, like the first film we ever did, it was something to do with like Cybermen snatching people off the streets. But again, we were all like 8 years old, pretending to be like, when kids kind of wear their parents' clothes, where they look like adults, to try and look like. And it was quite fun that these very early episodes, which were literally me, my sister, Tom Skinner, and his siblings, we would just film like one a day, just kind of action cut, not really thinking about anything to do with lighting or sound. And we probably
just get it on film,
yeah,
on video.
Yeah. And so we'd do one Saturday, maybe the week after we'd do one another Saturday, and then the following week. And it was just something to do over the summer, because his birthday was like, I think it's the middle of August. So it would have been around that time where school's off, just sort of having fun, having a laugh. And it's kind of changed over the years in terms of how we treat it. As I mentioned, there came a time we collaborated with school friends and, had fun doing it that way. And then we went to college friends and to uni friends. And as we went up, you were finding more people that cared about that kind of industry instead of just doing it for a laugh. Some people do it maybe reluctantly, like, oh, fine, I'll be in your video for you, Mark. But then as it went up, you were finding people who were like, I really care about this story or this particular shot or how to laugh someone and to hide it. And so yeah, there's an example from a shoot we did about this time last year, which again, just for example, you've got the director of photography, the Tom Ford, who's he kind of looks like he's under one of those old kind of camera things where they'd hide their face to take a picture,
like a hood.
Yeah, like a hood. Yeah. I don't know why. It must have been a very sunny day.
I've done that.
Yeah. And then the wonderful Sophia Booming, and then you've got Neil and Callum, who are the two kind of chaps next to each other, who are like assistant directors, and then Jake on the far left, who's an assistant camera. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff, And even that photo maybe doesn't do it justice of the number of people. We sit around 75 people on this project.
Wow,
it kind of
fantastic.
It goes up a little bit as someone new joins to help with a VFX shot or to do music or whatnot, but we're kind of sitting at that kind of ballpark at the moment. And really interestingly, of those 75, I think maybe only 19, 20 of them I knew prior. So that's just how fish out of water it was, and how we were trying to be as semi-professional as possible, like collaborating with actors we didn't know, collaborating with camera people and musicians. That comes with its risks, of course, because there's a lot of trust. If you're filming with your sister, you know where her bedroom door is to knock if she doesn't show up to set on time. If you're filming with an actor you don't know very well, or you've not known for a very long time, then that does enter into a very interesting situation. But everyone was really on it and really good. So
brilliant.
It can take a while to find, your people like that, can't it? Because I think and I had this in my early days as well. I think a lot of people think the idea of being an actor that's cool. And then you go, I need you to get up at 5:30 in the morning and be somewhere for 8 o'clock, and they think
they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'd rather stay in bed. Or camera guys, they think, oh yeah, this will be cool. I'll just turn up late, it'd be fine. I mean, I had a guy in a music vid once. He turned up 2 hours late. Was so slow that we overran by about 3 hours, and I never really overrun on shoots. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, it looked great what he did, but I was like, why were you 2 hours late on your first shoot with me as well? It's just not excusable. And so like you said, you've got a number of people that you work with a lot. I've got a couple of guys that I've worked with for 10 years, 15, and like you said as well, it's about trust, because you get to know people, and you can rely on them. Presenters who are going to turn up, know their lines, do a good job for you. My friend Chris, for example, he went out to film for me yesterday because I couldn't do it. I know he's going to turn up on time. He's going to be good with the people. He's going to do me a good job, and I'll be pleased with the footage. I've had people in the past who've been booked in on something, and then they've fairly short notice said, I can't do it now. Something cool has come in, basically. I can recommend
that happened.
It happens, and I've had in the past people give me a month's notice. Look, I've had a week's shoot come up to clash with yours. Can you let me out? Yeah, cool. I've got time to sort that, but 2 days' notice isn't workable. And then they'll say, I can recommend someone to you, and I kind of end up thinking, well, you've done me in at this short notice. Well, I'm going to trust someone that I've never met to turn up on a shoot, because the last time that happened, the guy was 2 hours late for me. So you start to slowly build up this reliable network of people, and
I think I can resonate with that a lot, in the sense that because it's a fan film and people are doing it purely out of the goodness of their heart, these people do get industry work come up, and they do suddenly drop everything. And that has meant that the project's always been in a state where it's like, we've got the filming day, we've put the equipment, we've got the location, we're ready to go. And then sometimes something like that does happen. We'd have times, we'd have a DOP and 3 or 4 other assistant camera or sparks, and then suddenly he has one, or no one. And it's like, just having that team can really elevate it, but it does come with its moments,
but that's giving you a few headaches, isn't it? When
yes.
But I'm a big believer in playing people to their strengths. And there's this wonderful example where I desperately needed an assistant camera person, because 2 people had suddenly had industry work come up, and I reached out to a friend who I hadn't worked with for many, many years, And he, in his head, was so used to the fan films I made 10 years ago that he almost came prepared with that mindset, like this is going to be quite chill, quite relaxed, tripod camera, action cut, And then when he showed up and he saw what was going on and the people running around, he was like, he suddenly felt very out of his depths and maybe not as prepared as he could have been.
Yeah.
But he started just taking photos, in between times when he could, and he took all these wonderful photos of behind the scenes, and he has such an eye for photography that instead of saying, screw that guy, I'm not bringing that guy back again, it was like, this guy's really good at taking photos.
Very
so
useful.
you kind of learn to play people to different areas, and it's quite harsh to kind of just chuck someone to the side, and we never really have that kind of policy. It's about finding where people can really stretch themselves, and some people I might chuck in a runner role. I might go, yeah, you can help, make the teas or run around, do jobs, and then you see them excel, and you go, I think I want this person supporting me with this, or being an assistant director or something. So yeah, it's complicated, and lots is happening, and lots of cogs are moving. But I always treat it a lot. I don't know if you guys are football fans. It's like trying to come up with your dream team. Who are you putting in the wing? Who are you putting as a striker? Who's in goal? And that's me with a set environment. It's like, how do I play people to their best abilities? I think you fall into one of 4 categories. You are really hardworking and really nice, really hardworking and difficult to work with, no work ethic, but you're nice, or no work ethic and you're not nice. You fall into one of those 4 categories. And I will work with those that are tough to work with, but they deliver, like the guy you said who was really slow, but delivered really good stuff. I do not typically work with the people that aren't good and aren't nice. You don't work with those people.
And there's no point making it difficult for everyone, is there?
No.
So,
and when you do
choose
this,
wisely.
And when you do this kind of work and someone's difficult, you just don't have to call them again. It's real easy to.
And we don't really have people on the team that are negative to others, but we might have someone that's just, there's this one guy called Tom Ford who's our DOP. So if you see any of the shots from the trailer, he's the man. But he's grumpy on set. He's not malicious. He's not mean. He's never. But he's just grumpy, But I'd still work with him any day, But some people would say to me, "You sure you want to work with that?" And it's like, well, he's not. He's not a bully. He's not a bad guy. He's just grumpy, Like maybe there are other people that are grumpy, but
I had a guy called Mike that worked with me for years, and Mike and I got on brilliantly. And Mike was a dry, sarcastic, grumpy bugger.
I remember Mike.
Yeah, you met Mike.
Yeah.
And some people like Paul really liked him, got him. Others were a bit unsure. But I'd say, Mike's brilliant. I can rely on him. I can trust him, and
absolutely,
he do a great job. And unfortunately, he became ill a little while ago. But he was exactly like you're saying there, like Tom. And not everyone kind of gets it.
Everyone vibes.
Yeah.
And it is a stressful environment as well, sometimes people see grumpiness and go, why can't they just be happy? And it's like, well, spend a day in their shoes or lug a massive Arri camera or tripod or whatever, see how you feel,
But that's part of the skill as well, isn't it? It's kind of managing all those emotional factors as well as the environmental factors and the technical stuff as well. When you're a crew, it's the ability to do all that as if it's just in your stride, as if it's just a normal day at the office kind of thing. That's kind of what you need.
Yeah, definitely, And it's had its ups and downs, and it's trying not to take things personally as well. Sometimes people can be cross at each other, and you go, well, what did I do? What could I have done better? But
it's not you.
Yeah, these things happen.
So, how many films have you guys done in total now?
Let me check my own.
Oh, there's a question.
If you're only listening to the audio, not watching on YouTube, Mark's thinking deeply.
Checking his computer.
He's obviously got an extensive list.
He's done so many.
I was going to check my IMDb just to see what's listed there.
Oh, he's got an IMDb. He just dropped that one in.
I'm using my Google Gmail to illuminate my face because I think it looks nicer. Otherwise, I look like that.
You've vanished now.
Absolutely beautiful. The drama in that lighting is just incredible.
It's like
when you turn it off, you turn into like one of those
fade away.
Blank, where they hide someone's identity.
I'd rather not be seen for this moment.
I'm gonna digitize your voice at that point.
So it says 63.
Wow.
But that might not include short films and stuff like that. And again, maybe only one or two of them are good. So I'll send you a list.
Yeah. But I used to think when I did my films that do something and some ABC in it or whatever would be bad, and then I'd do another film and I'd fix those, and then D, E, and F would be bad.
Would come up. Yeah.
Yeah, you're learning on each one. And even now, if you can't look at something and go, oh, I wish I'd had a bit more time for that, or could have made that a little bit better.
And there's always the urge to take old stuff down or remaster it, do it again, act it all out again. But I feel like it's a testament of the journey.
Yes, I agree.
Go back 10 years, you can see some terrible stuff we did, but you get to see how we've progressed and improved and where we are now. And I hope that that's, enough for other fans and other people who love Doctor Who to just go out there and make stuff,
definitely.
There's nothing holding you back. You might look at our stuff and go, how did they get there? Or you might think it's a load of crap. I don't know. But you can see that we've got this whole journey and, we all start somewhere. And I always like to think, if you were to travel back 10 years ago and ask me from 10 years ago, or anyone for that matter, tell someone from 10 years ago all the wonderful things you've done in the last 10 years, your younger self would probably be so overwhelmed and it would be so daunting because how am I meant to do that? How am I meant to achieve this?
To go out and achieve it.
It's like, I've got to go do all these things. And I just think, where will we be in 10 years? That's what I often think about. And you can apply that in any situation you're in. If you're just starting off with filmmaking stuff, like who was I 10 years ago? Where can I be in 10 years? And you can obviously then ask a much deeper question of what would your version of you from 10 years ago think of who you are now and who do you want to be? But I sometimes try and use that trick when people are a bit overwhelmed if we're talking about the far distant future. It's like, that's so far ahead. It's like, well, think about who you were 10 years ago and think about what you've done. And you did it. And it wasn't an issue, and you overcame obstacles. And that's what it's all about. So,
and I think it's easier than ever to make a film now. We've all got a decent camera in our pocket. Go out and do something. I meet quite a few people who, over the years, I'd love to make a film or, do photography, but I just, stop being an aspiring filmmaker and just be a filmmaker.
Just go and do it.
Go
so many people who's
mess up.
Their bio is, aspiring filmmaker.
Yeah.
Just stop. Just go do
filmmaker.
it. You'll make something crap, but then you'll learn from it and you'll make something better. And, I do think, like with my film festival, I see films where, the idea is big and, the ambition is grand in something, but, the resources are perhaps not there for it. But, we always said with the festival, don't care what you shoot on or what you spent on it, want to be entertained. And there's been stuff that's come in, and you've seen some of it, Paul, that it's nicely shot. They've obviously had some money on it, but it's not as entertaining as something that a bunch of kids have made on their iPhone.
The stuff the kids make is incredible. I have to say.
I think as you get older, I mean, maybe this is just from my view, and when you make a film, well, what can I achieve? How can we do that? How much money have we got? What can we, how much time have we got? And your ideas sort of become, more realistic, I suppose. Whereas the kids, they don't have that problem. So they come up with these massive, mad things, and they can be great,
absolutely.
And if they had some money.
When you're a kid, I think you just want to go out and do it, don't you? I think the planning is minimal. And you don't really see any barriers. And I think the older you get, same as in loads of walks of life, is if you're not careful, you can get to a point where all you see is barriers. And the mere thought of those barriers can stop you doing something. Whereas the kids, they don't have the experience to think of that even, because they're not aware those barriers exist half the time. They just go and do it.
When I was a kid making films, most of it was shot around our garden or our parents' garden. But if I wanted to go film down the woods, if someone told me off, they'd say, oh, well, they're just kids, I'll just let them be.
Exactly, yeah.
If I show up with a crew, it's like I need to make sure I've got a film permit and I've scouted the area and jumped through so many hoops. And it's like
actually putting barriers in front of you deliberately to try and make life difficult. Just to make
I can't really use the university card anymore. I used to use that a lot. I'm a uni student, and I can't really play that anymore.
Yeah, you get to the point where you should know better.
So is it just Doctor Who stories that you've done, Mark, or you've done other things as well?
We've kind of dabbled in other short films and stuff like that. I'm someone who I'm a sucker for TV shows. Not just Doctor Who, but there's so many wonderful shows out there. Breaking Bad, Dark, Andor recently came out. Me and my partner just started The Man in the Highest Castle, which is a well over 10-year-old. Well over a 10-year-old show. Yeah, and I like going on a journey with a character, and I find it very fascinating how a writer or a team of writers or just a team in general, how they can take an audience on a journey where this character you didn't know 4 episodes ago, you're crying because they've lost their mum, or they're far away from home, and I find that really fascinating and something that's quite hard to tackle. There can be a lot of great short films out there, but how many of them can bring you to tears, especially in such a short window of time, is a challenge. It's really hard, and so we've made short films, but I always lean more towards this long format of episodes.
Right, yeah. So you've got the chance, like you said, to kind of get to know the characters, to introduce their stories, to develop them further and see where they go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really controversial, and I've never said this to anyone publicly, so I might get shot in the foot for now. But I don't think there's a 5-minute short film out there that can make me cry. I think you have to be invested.
We can put you to the test.
Not unless someone's like pinching my arm as I watch it or something like that,
I'll tell you what,
holding onions under me.
Yeah,
it's about the journey. An hour film, sure. An hour and a half film, absolutely. There's so many TV shows where you go on such a long journey with a character. 5th or 6th episode, you'll move to tears, and I'm trying to just understand how is that possible. Like what has the writer done? And I know it sounds really simple, but it's really challenging to replicate. So yeah, that's my belief. I don't dislike short films, but I if they're under a certain length of time, technically an hour can class as a short film. But if it's 5 minutes, I don't think it can make me cry.
Oh, there's a challenge there, Jeff. Really caught the start of that.
Send me your 5-minute short films.
Come to Horsham. Come to the Horsham Film Festival this year and enter it.
Yeah.
Well, we had one. You were there, Paul, weren't you? The one about the baby. And,
oh my goodness, I was in tears.
People were crying in
the
auditorium. Yeah. And then there was one that was a documentary about an older lady.
The old guy losing his memory. Yeah.
Was it that one? There was a couple that people also shed tears at. That's more real than a fictional thing.
Yeah.
But there's
maybe they
short
do
films,
exist.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I need to get out there.
Gotta hit it in. Well, let's talk about Outlander. So this is your biggest and most epic production to date. So why don't we take a look at the trailer for a moment?
Cool. Yeah.
And let's see if this will behave and do what I want it to.
I might mute myself if that helps, just so. Actually, I don't mind.
Yeah, no.
Do you want commentary or actually? I don't know. Why not?
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
To be fair, I've never seen it before either.
Oh, okay.
No, okay.
Well, I hope you like it. All right, here we go.
And the big news story of the day is that President Kennedy will be coming to Dallas this November. We'll have more on this later tonight.
I just want to get away from this place. I've never felt like I truly belonged here. There must be more to life than this.
This just in, the reports a satellite has crashed in the Dallas area.
It can't be.
Authorities would like to reassure all locals that there's absolutely nothing to be concerned about.
feel like something bad's coming.
If you come with me, I can't guarantee you'll be safe. It's a dangerous world out there.
Who even is this guy? He's a complete stranger.
Ooh.
Mm.
That looks good, Mark.
Could be better. Could be better.
Is that the trouble when you look at things you've made? Is there a temptation to, or a nagging voice that says you're just looking at the faults?
Sometimes,
and you see the things you could have done better, had more time,
To be
better
fair,
lighting on the day.
I've not watched that for a few months, and that's quite nice actually to watch, especially with others.
It looks, it is really impressive.
The
production values are high. The scope of it looks epic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
it's
that.
really nicely lit. It's really atmospheric stuff. The cast looks great. There's, a big, kind of breadth to people in it. It's not just two or three people. It's I think there can be a sort of thing of, fan films, they're going to be shit, or fan audios, they're going to be bad.
Absolutely.
And we've had people listen to our audios, haven't we, Paul, who are sort of been surprised about how kind of how good the whole thing has been. And I'm not blowing our trumpets, but I've listened to others, and you think, well, why is that voice in mono and the rest are in stereo? It's not that hard to get it right. Stuff like that.
Absolutely. Careful what you say, Jeff.
And I think, like we talked about, you grow and you learn with your stuff, and things get bigger, and that, at the point where you are, that's looking seriously impressive. I think.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's really mundane and it's really small, but one thing that sticks out, and this is something that people who have watched the trailer have pointed out, is the TARDIS is just looking a bit dated now, which is a really odd thing to say, because 10 years ago we built that, both the box and the interior, and it was our selling point, because Who has their own TARDIS, with its own dimensions and its own design, and then everything went up, like you said, the lighting and the cast and everything, that now it's like, oh, the TARDIS looks like it's from a fan film, and I think it's the only thing that I look at in that trailer and I go, I mean, it's not terrible, and again, most people don't have a TARDIS, so the worst thing in the trailer is something most people don't have in their trailer, so it's a very small thing, but it's very interesting to see how the tables have turned and how we've shifted in a positive way, and it's also a great way to go, let's improve on that going forward.
I gotta be honest, I saw the TARDIS in the console there and I thought, that looks really cool that you've actually got one in it, and you've built
not
it,
green screen, it's all practical as well.
It's impressive,
thank
putting
you,
something together like that.
And it takes a team to build that,
I bet,
I spend a lot of time going on podcasts and people go, it's great, and I go, what did I do again? But yes, no, I'm very proud of everyone.
So I think it's good. I mean, I think a lot of it. Sorry, Jeff. I was going to say a lot of what you're filming, I can see from the trailer there. For any sort of imperfections that you might see at TARDIS console or whatever, the lighting and the camera shots and the lenses you're using, more than make up for any of that.
That's why I said
that's almost like a minor stuff.
He's grumpy.
It's filmed as if it's $1 million.
Yeah, he's grumpy, but he's worth it. This Tom Ford guy, he's brilliant. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, and just something simple like that. That's just a really nice rig that I get to watch. And not everyone's crowded around the same kind of tiny little peephole to view the camera. I get to just sit in the corner and look at the screen and
this we're looking
complain.
at now, is it?
Yeah. What camera, I really appreciate that.
What camera are you shooting on?
Oh well, gosh. See, this is where it enters jurisdiction. I don't know.
It's a camera. You look down one end, you point it at someone moving.
I mean, to be fair,
I think it's an FX3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got no idea what that means.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
who
a
knows?
Sony. Yeah, if you like Sonys, they're good.
Yeah, I think we use a A7 for some stuff, but an FX3 mostly. And there's a lot of prime lenses, whatever that means. I don't know.
Yeah, so it doesn't have a zoom feature to it.
Yeah,
So it's
See,
locked.
I do know what that means.
Yeah.
But I firmly believe it doesn't really matter what you shoot on, as long as you're telling a good story and getting a good shot. I mean, you should film on Blackmagic if you want your stuff to look really nice. That's just my opinion.
You've got a little discount code for them every time you mention it.
I bloody wish I did have one.
You did.
Tell you that.
Yeah.
It's not cheap stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us about your
That's a great
doctor
shot. I love
here.
that.
These are lovely pictures. So describe this incarnation of the Doctor, and do you give him, because obviously we have 10, 12, etc.
We don't need numbers now because we could have so many doctors. We could have an infinity of doctors.
Yeah.
So
Does
we
he
don't
have,
need to number them.
Because there's another series of fan films, and they had the Purple Doctor in them, didn't they?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
do you have a sort of, I was going to say code name, but
It's
you know what I
interesting.
mean?
Fans will come up with stuff. So I'll get a text message or I'll get some sort of Discord message that says, "I love your doctors. I'd like to add them to my universe." People will make their own universes, and they'll send me a message like, "Okay, this doctor's now going to be called the Toothbrush Doctor, or this one's going to be called the Mop Doctor," and I'm just like, "You go ahead, you do that, guys. That's fine."
You do you. Yeah.
We don't really have numbers or names, but to describe him, he's very bubbly, very energetic. You could probably see a lot of Matt Smith in him. But I think he's also, from previous episodes and adventures we've done, I think he's probably at his lowest. We do. There's an episode out called a Blip in Time, which is sort of a prologue to Outlander. And depending on how Outlander does, we've kind of treated it almost like a pilot. It's kind of like a 2-part pilot. If it does well, we hope to carry the Outlander name on to do more chapters in this story. Yeah. In the prologue, in a Blip in Time, he's very kind of dark and gloomy, but we're going with more kind of energetic and enthusiastic kind of Doctor for these stories. So I hope that kind of sums him up quite nicely.
There we go. Look at that. Look at the lighting on that.
I know. Yeah.
And it doesn't sort of take much to just make it, look really good. Those little trio of dots in the background there on the sort of.
And there's so much just happening in this shot. Like we've hazed it ever so slightly. There's a light above. There's actually a light in the console from behind. Hence the reason you can see all around it. God knows what lens. Like I said, prime lens. I think we have a focus puller, so someone will be to the side, shifting a little gadget to make sure it stays in focus, but I just look at it and I just know that I built that with my dad. That's just the only thing that takes it out of me. And we're now collaborating with prop makers and model makers, and they're looking at it and going, this could be a lot, and in a good way, it could be a lot better. But it's still got a special place in my heart, and if we do improve upon it, I don't want to destroy it, just adding to bits,
Got to keep it,
yeah, absolutely.
So, what can you tell us about the plot of Outlander, obviously, without giving it all away?
Not spoiling much, yeah. So it's set around the Kennedy assassination. So we're in Dallas, Texas, hence the trailer. 1963, pivotal moment, not just for politics, but for Doctor Who itself, because obviously you get the next day, you get the unearthly child.
First episode.
We've got 3 companions for this story that go on an adventure with the Doctor, again, maybe kind of echoing classic Who quite a lot. They are ordinary people living their day-to-day lives. One is kind of in a dead-end job. The other is basically living the American dream, his brother. And then his girlfriend is, actually, technically she's his wife. Yeah, his wife in the story's a nurse, actually, at Parkland Hospital, where Kennedy ends up. And she's a woman in the 60s that just isn't heard or seen. She will witness something very sci-fi. I won't go into too much detail about it, but because of her class or the period of time that we're in, she's almost kind of pushed to one side and not listened to and kind of not respected. And we're trying to go down a different route that Doctor Who's not done for donkey's years, which is taking companions from a period in time that isn't present day Earth. And I think if you pick these three companions up and drop them into here and now, you know, how are they going to react to people, like you said, who can film on their phones, who can go on Google and type in whatever they want, who can use AI, who can find out all the knowledge in the universe at a click of a button. How are these characters going to react to that? You know, are things better now, or are they worse, or is it a bit of both? Are we more social on social media, or is everyone just kind of quiet and kind of vain, or just posting pictures of them when they're happy? You know, and I think these characters, we've got a great opportunity to play them in a way that is fish out of water, exposed to what we call normality, and to really kind of establish them as Outlanders, you know. That's why it's called it. So yes, that's kind of the route we're hoping to go down. I'm trying to think the last companion that was from a different period in time. Like
there's not been anything in New Who, has there?
I was going to say, maybe, I know Ace was from the future.
Yeah. Briefly Victoria,
not
Clara.
much.
Yeah,
Not much. She was flung into the future, wasn't she? I think she was still probably counts as contemporary.
But you've got Leela from the past, I guess, if you're talking kind of... Actually, is
Leela's from the future as well.
Oh, she's from a different planet. Never mind.
Just society's regress. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
He's not a real fan.
It's an interesting point, and I always like that. You know, when you take someone out of time, so to speak, isn't it? You know, and you're right. Doctor Who generally takes people out of whatever period they're in right now, because it's a connection to the audience. I think for most of them. I think we had Katarina. I was watching the Daleks Master Plan that was recovered. Katarina's in there, and she was a companion who was like very quickly ditched because they just couldn't write for her. I think, or just couldn't envision where they were going to go with her. Having somebody who you had to explain everything to every episode. But of course you don't. You know, you just watch her reactions.
Just how they performs.
Let her story and let her character unfold in that situation. That gives its own dynamic, I think. So I'm really interested in what you guys are doing, pulling people from the 60s. And it's a great idea.
I forget the name of it, but there's a Tortured episode that kind of touches on this, where three people from the 1940s suddenly rock up in 21st century.
I can't remember that.
It's like the last or second to last of series 1 or 2. I forget the name of it, but they all take very drastic measures. The scene that sits in my mind very much is someone kind of wanting to take their life by I can't remember what they do in the car, but doing something in order to fill it with fumes, you know. And I'm not saying we're going to do a similar thing with that, but it'd be really interesting to see how just how they interact to things that we call normality, you know. This is a time when, to ring your friend, you still had to pick up the phone and say, operator, can you put me through to,
probably go down to a phone box as well.
And nowadays people's mobile phones will ring and they won't want to answer it. They'll go, I don't know whose number that is, you know.
That is.
It's called a phone, but you don't really use it as a phone. It's everything but a phone.
Yeah, it is really.
Which is very interesting.
So when the film's finished, what happens with it? It goes out on YouTube? Do you put it into festivals? Do you do any screening events? Or...
We want to do a premiere, ideally in Cardiff, just because that's kind of the heart of a lot of New Who, and that's, you know, for a lot of people my age and many others, you know, that's kind of where Doctor Who kind of lives at the moment. So we're hoping to do a premiere for that probably a week or two in advance before it drops on YouTube, and then it will go out to the public domain. We'd like to do festivals. It's just finding the right niche for them, because, you know, though I criticised short films earlier, you can get your short film into a lot of festivals compared to niche Doctor Who fan film into niche fan film festivals. So we're hoping to share it with people. We've reached out to various people who have worked on Doctor Who, both cast and crew. They've seen the trailer. They've said lovely things about it. So it'd be nice to just sort of keep that chain going and get it to people. I'm just trying to get it to Russell's desk. I just watch it, Russell, you know.
Just watch it. Yeah.
I don't care if he's got his eyes open with toothpicks. Just watch the trailer. You know. I kid, of course, but you know, and see how the fans react. Do they like it? Do they not like it? What can we improve on? And that will just really shape where we go from here. But the future is looking good if all goes well.
Great. And you've got some plans already?
Yes, we just had a call this week talking about where we go from here and stuff. Talking about, as I kind of maybe fresh in my head, the TARDIS and what needs doing with stuff like that. There's so many things that people like. I used to record every single meeting I did until it got to a point I was like, I don't have any space to keep all these recordings, you know. And it's just, there's so many things that go into it. I think people just don't realize, you know, the content will come out, people will watch it, they'll digest it, they'll like it, they'll love it, they'll hate it, you know, and hours has gone into that, you know, thousands and thousands of hours.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think people fully, you know, realise the amount of hours and people that go into making anything of any size, let alone you know, massive scale film, you know.
But in a way, there's no reason why they should, is there? Because as a viewer, you're there to kind of watch the end products, you know, the thing that's been made for your entertainment, you know. True. You're going to get people who are interested in the behind the scenes stories, but the majority, I think, just entertain me for an hour. So that's all they ask, and that's why we do what we do.
And that's kind of the sad thing about doing film and TV is I can never just watch a film or a show and just kind of enjoy it, because I'm watching it and going, I wonder how they did that, or like I see, like don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm completely empty inside and I can't watch a nice drama or something like that, you know, but I'm always nitpicking, like, I wonder how they did this or that. Or I'll always turn to my girlfriend and go, oh, his scarf has changed colour, or something random, you know, some sort of continuity error that you'll spot. But obviously the end result is they sit down, they watch it, they love it, and if they've done that, then we've done our job. So.
Yeah, when I watch stuff, like half of my brain is enjoying it for what it is, and the other half is like, oh, how, you know, have they done that? And you know, looking at it in the
that's been in the industry.
The sort of not critical eye, but the you know, I'm interested in that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are your writers then, Mark? Are you a team? Do you have one writer, two writers, more perhaps, or how does that work?
There's about, well, I say there's about 8. There's about 8 people in a WhatsApp chat. It's been primarily myself writing, although I've had some co-writers on some stories, and then we almost kind of present it to the other 6 or the other 7, and kind of have kind of script editing sessions, you know. We did a call the other day where we read a draft for the first time, and it's you spend so ages getting lost in a story and falling in love with it, or being like, this would really be really cool to do, and then you present it to a room of people and they're going, I don't know what's going on, and you're like, don't say that to me, you're meant to say this is great. But I've done this enough that I have a thick skin that people can like I left a script call the other day and someone turned to me and said, no one said a single nice thing about that script. How does that make you feel, Mark? And I was like, I don't think about it. You know, I want feedback. I want constructive feedback. I want to improve it. It would be nice if people sandwich stuff. This works. This could do with improvement. This I like, you know.
Feedback sandwich.
Yeah, but
shit sandwich.
Or shit, yeah. But sometimes it is just, this didn't make sense. I don't understand this, and those are really valid points. So, yeah.
Those are valid points you can listen to, ignore, and just carry on.
Well, yeah. Well,
maybe.
Someone always said to me, and this has always stuck with me, if you share a script with 8 people and one person doesn't get it, you don't have to listen to that one person. If 8 people don't get it, it's like, okay, maybe there's something here.
Yes, because I think, you know, as creative, you know, you've got to sort of try and stick to your path and the journey and story you want to take. But I think you're right. You know, if a lot of people are not getting somewhere, or they don't like something, perhaps you're wrong on it, and there's a problem. I do think, you know, I was reading the other day about some film that had a load of focus group screenings, and I think it could be quite dangerous as in a way doing it, because you've got 100 people watching a film and they're not necessarily all the audience, so they start saying, I don't get this, we don't like that, and change the end, and you know, and then you can see why a lot of big movies these days start sort of playing it safe, because they just panic, because they're like, we need to please this type of person, that type of person, this fan, that fan. You can't do it, and I think, you know, it's probably lost in some ways in big films these days, but stick in your course and
definitely.
But the focus groups are terror, I think, really.
And sometimes trying to hear everyone's opinion it becomes too many cooks. You're not really making something, like, you're just trying to make everyone happy, and you know, you kind of got to go, I really want to make this story. Tell me if it doesn't work, but just help me bring that to life.
Craft
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
just craft it with me. You know,
'Cause that happens with us. You know, Paul writes his script for an audio, and I send him notes, and he puts them in the bin and carries on. You know?
Pretty much.
yeah. But no,
So,
It's too long.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I did think that with the last one. Then we got down to it, and I was like, "Oh, this is all right. This is working." Yeah, that's good.
Nice. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Mark, thank you very much for joining us this evening. This has been great to chat about
That's
something
been good. I appreciate it. Yeah.
quite different for us to talk about. You know, we do our audios and stuff. but
Yeah,
doing a
yeah.
Fan film is very different. So yeah, keep us posted. You know, on the production.
Definitely.
and you know,
Very excited to
yeah,
see
look
that.
forward to seeing it when it's done. And on the podcast, it will share the link to the trailer and stuff, so people can watch it in their own leisure as well as within the episode.
Thank you.
here.
Yeah, I appreciate
But,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I sent you an email the other day. When the film's done and when it's out, we'll get you back on, you know,
yes.
some of the actors and stuff, and we'll have a bit more chat, go in depth about it. You could talk some spoilers and behind the scenes
that's
and,
not a bad
and stuff
shout.
like that.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
when you
I'll be-
do get on to Russell T Davis's desk, don't you forget about us, because
Yeah.
we're right here.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, not at all. Yeah.
he's got some audios he could listen to.
Yes. Yeah. With his eyes pinned open.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his ears, obviously.
Yeah.
Pinned his ears open.
Whack a pair of cans and sellotape them round to his face or something.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on,
Yeah,
guys.
well, thank you very
Hey,
much.
welcome. It's been a
All right.
pleasure.
Well, thank you everyone for listening, and take it safe out there in the raging heat. By the time we listen to this, it'll probably start raining or something, to be honest. But
Did you have hailstones? We had massive hailstones.
no, I've just been burning.
I know we had a lot of thunder. There was lots of
Yeah,
thunder
there was a
last
huge
night.
amount of thunder.
Yeah.
My wife just told me there's a guy that's just been to see, and his car is like just dented. He's got like 200
Really?
dents on his car because of the hailstones last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was mad.
Blimey.
I remember I woke up to the thunder last night, but my girlfriend didn't wake up. And then a couple of minutes passed and another lightning strike. And she woke up and she was like, Mark, there's thunder. And apparently I said something to her like, yeah, I already know, you know, like, this is old news. You're like, yeah, I already knew it was there. And I just, yeah, that's lived rent free in my head all day, pretty much. But yes.
Well, send some of it this way; it will break the air a bit. and
Yes, yeah.
cool it down. So. Right,
Bless.
thanks everyone. Take it easy out there, and we'll catch you next time on Who Outlander.
See you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.